Hi there, my name is Alex Wellock, student number 130682237. So today I'm going to talk to you about my snare drum wire choir piece and how I came to both create it and perform it. So for the second part of my ensemble module on the Beamer's Contemporary Music Performance course, I was required to write for 4 snare drum parts, bring them all together into one big score, and then perform these parts to my tutor. To start writing the piece, I researched different types of Brazilian drumming. For example, Paul Simon's Obvious Child uses this style of drumming and features a number of rudiments such as Ratamacues, flams and triplets. So the tempo that I had chosen for my piece was going to be around 175 to 180 BPM. I chose this BPM in order to get the feel of traditional Brazilian style drumming. However, as I was writing these ideas down, I realised that the tempo of the piece was going to be too difficult for my classmates that I was performing the piece with. It was going to be too difficult as 175 and 180 are quite fast tempos, and I felt that we might slip up during the performance and create quite a few errors during our performance. So as a result, I decided that I should change the tempo from 175 to around 110 BPM. So this resulted me in changing the tempo, and I also decided to use a lot more rudiments such as flam taps, Swiss Army triplets, paradiddles, paraparadiddles, and also doubles, along with my first ideas of using triplets and flams. I also listened to other percussion sections to see how they create different moments of impact and how they transition along with the way that they use technical and also visual demands at the same time. For example, I used accents in my piece to give it definition. So in one part I would use certain accents, like I say, to create definition, along with different dynamics such as piano, mezzo forte and also forte to give the piece different shades of light. The staging of the piece involved all 3 of my classmates, including me, standing in one line and performing our wire choir pieces. To add detail to my score, I put a title in as a snare drum wire choir to make it specific as what instruments I was using in my wire choir. I also obviously had my name down, page numbers, tempo markings, dynamic markings, accents, and also most importantly rehearsal marks in order to specify what structure my score was going to be. So in order to let the piece breathe a little, I didn't fill every single measure of the score with notes. This made the piece sound a lot more fluent. I also used ostinatos mixed with dynamics to keep the piece driving along. So when we performed the piece, like I say, we had snare drum 1, 2, 3 and 4. We performed the piece. There were a couple of errors, as if, for instance, I did slip up a little. I should have practiced it more. I did slip up a little. Some of my classmates did slip up a little as well. But all in all, it was a very successful performance. Things that I would have changed. Well, I would have changed some of the rudiments. For example, some of the paradiddles and the doubles, I would have put them in slightly different places, as I felt that my classmates couldn't perform them as well, and it was a bit stiff in the way they sounded, as I had semi-quaver paradiddles and semi-quaver doubles in a straight run. I would have also, if I was going to do it again, I maybe would have upped the tempo by another 10 to 20 BPM maybe, just to make it sound that bit more sort of fluent, and also to get those paradiddles and doubles flown a lot more instead of sounding really stiff, as the piece sort of takes a while to get going. I would have also added more varied parts to the drums, as a lot of it was just the same parts for each drum, just mixed around. I would have added a lot more rudiments, such as groupings of 6, maybe groupings of 8, demi-semi-quavers, flam-EQs, flam accents. I would have added a lot more rudiments to my piece. I would have also added crescendos and diminuendos. I would, if I was going to do it again as well, I would add a diminution of notes, so going from perhaps a grouping of 6 to a grouping of 4 semi-quavers to quavers to a flam, so that it descends in certain groups in a straight run down to the piece, giving it that sort of definition and different shades. Also, I would also tune the snare, give the snare drums different tunings. So I would maybe for 2 of the snare drums, like one of my classmates did, they took 2 of the snare drums, took the snare wires off the snare drums, had them in open tuning, and 2 of them quite tight tuning. Or as one of my other classmates as well had low, high, low, medium, mid and high snare drums in there, in order to give it different sounds and different shades as well. As I say, for my piece, it was just all 4 tightly tuned snare drums, in order to give it that sort of Brazilian style drumming. For next semester's wild choir, I will also use a different amount of sticking. I will also use a drum key, and I will also create parts the way I have to, and my classmates, where we have to use the rim of the snare drum, and I will also be using floor toms to give it that depth to the piece, and also maybe tam-tams. So yeah, my name I'm Alex Wellock. My student number again is 130682237, and like I say, my snare drum wire choir piece has been performed. It was a successful performance, and I hope to do it again, even better next semester, with more rudiments and everything else that should go in there to make it a lot better, to make the performance a lot better. So I hope you've enjoyed my presentation, and thank you very much.